The first half of 2024 went like this. So how is the market? How has it performed the first year? What can we project for the rest of the year? And one of the most important questions that I'm hearing, how is this election year going to affect our real estate market? We're going to cover all of that in this video today. I'm Gia Silva, president of INTI Realty. Let's get right to it and talk about how's the market. Okay, so this graph, you guys, you've heard me talk about supply and demand, and this one graph is probably the most important one I'm going to show you. It tells you where we've been, where we're at today, and where we can predict where we're going. So we know supply and demand, that if we took all the listings, right, the active listings that we have, and they sold between 6 and 7 months, we would be in a neutral market. If they sold over 7 months, we would be in a buyer's market. And anything less than 6 months, we are in a seller's market. As you can see in this graph, we have been in a seller's market for quite a while. Now, this is on a national level, so if you just take state by state, even city by city, county by county, you'll know that across the nation, we are seeing less than 6 months of inventory, so we are continuing to see a strong seller's market. Now, you hear this all the time, a buyer's market, a seller's market, but what does it really mean? So a seller's market means pretty much your property goes on the market, and because of the lack of inventory, there are more buyers for your property than properties on the market. Usually meaning that if you've priced your property correctly and you're marketing it really well, you are going to be getting multiple offers, and at times, we've seen it in the last few years, that properties are selling way over their listed price. So a buyer's market is quite the opposite. And my guess, even seen on this graph, that we're probably not gonna see a buyer's market in quite a while. So that graph just gave us an overview, of course, nationwide of how's the market. But now let's take a look at the numbers specifically in our city of Long Beach. Now, we just finished the first half of 2024 and quarter two. So to give you some perspective, we're gonna be comparing numbers from Q2 of 2023 and quarter two of 2024. Let's start with the residential market. So last year when we ended quarter two in 2023, the quarter ended with a 6.49% interest rate. And this quarter in 2024 that just ended, we ended with a 6.99 interest rate. And yet we have increased in our residential market by 11% in single family homes and 5.3% in condos. So even though interest rate is 0.5% higher, we're still seeing that appreciation is continuing in our city of Long Beach. Now for our multifamily properties in Long Beach, for duplexes, we saw 17% appreciation in just 1 year. And for triplexes and fourplexes, we saw a little bit of a decline. And we know that, of course, because that's 0.5% over in interest rate, which is gonna make it a little bit tougher for financing when you're purchasing a triplex or a fourplex. Also, when you're getting into multifamily, the investment may not make sense by just that 0.5% increase in interest rate because the rents may not even cover the mortgage. What's really interesting to see all across all property types is the average days on market. The average days on market stayed about the same for the first quarter of 2024 than the first quarter of 2023. But going into summertime, we're seeing now that the average days on market is increasing, which means that properties are staying on the market a little longer. There was a big lack of inventory before, and now we're seeing more properties go on the market in summertime, so buyers have more options. Now again, we still have an inventory issue, so even though more properties are coming active for sale on the market, we still need more. Okay, so we went through how is the market, what's happening specifically in our city of Long Beach, but now let's chat about the big question, what everybody's talking about. How is this year's election going to be affecting our real estate market? So I have some very interesting graphs to share with you. This one is from Freddie Mac. They took a look at the last 11 presidential elections and saw that 8 out of those 11 presidential elections, the mortgage rates actually decreased leading up to the election. And this other graph is by HUD and National Association of Realtors, where they showed that home sales actually went up after 9 of the last 11 presidential elections. And Ali Wolf, chief economist, said that usually home sales are unchanged compared to a non-election year, with the exception being November. In an election year, November is slower than normal. And in our real estate market, we usually see that November and leading up to the holidays is pretty much a slower month. Then Ali continued by saying that in December, following an election and in the following year, the sales that are lost during November are recovered. And it isn't that consumers say, I'm nervous, I never want to buy. They say, I'm nervous. Let's just wait and see how things play out. Now, Al Lord, CEO and founder, said it best. Presidential election years affect the national housing market and mortgage rates through three interrelated channels: uncertainty, policy expectations, and consumer confidence. This is because consumers may choose to postpone major purchases or sales until they gain greater confidence in the country's direction. Now, uncertainty really is because we are all uncertain of what's going to happen. We're confused. We're all confused. Policy expectations because you are hoping that the candidate that wins is going to put forth the policies that you're in favor of. And then, of course, consumer confidence, because after the election, now everyone's gonna have more clarity as to what you can plan for. Okay, so now we've come to the last part of the video, which is all about the projections. So what are the projections for the rest of the year, for next year, and the years to come? Let's start with mortgage rates. This was just released by the Mortgage Banking Association, and it gives us their prediction as to where rates are going. We could see by the last graphs that we saw that rates seem to kind of go down right before an election, and we're probably going to see them go a little bit lower towards the end of the year and into 2025. And here are the projections from all three major voices in real estate: Fannie Mae, Mortgage Banking Association, and National Association of Realtors. And the average of all three shows us that 2024, they're saying we're going to see about 6.67, going into 2025, 6.5, and then seeing that they're going to be going lower into 2025. But lower rates, we know, means higher prices. So are we going to be seeing properties go up in price? Well, let's take a look at this forecast, also from major voices in real estate. On a national level, they are all calling out for appreciation. And of course, in our city of Long Beach, just in California itself, we've been seeing appreciation in different cities, different counties. So yes, towards the end of 2024 and into 2025, we are going to continue to see appreciation all across the board. So there you have it. We've discussed how's the market. We've discussed how this year's election may affect the real estate market. And we've also discussed all the projections from major voices and what history continues to tell us. Now, how do I feel about things that are going to happen? Here's my take. I couldn't agree more with this specific quote. This is Professor of Economics Denis Shirshikov, and he said, when it comes to the real estate forecast for the next 5 years, I'm cautiously optimistic. I believe we are going to see a lot of ebb and flow over the next 5 years. Some highs, some lows, but overall a healthy market. Prices should continue to rise, though more slowly, and buyers might enjoy more options as inventory expands. But remember, real estate is profoundly local. What happens on a national scale can manifest differently in your own backyard. So remember to keep watching our videos. Not only are we looking at stats and what's happening in our real estate market on a national level, but it's really important to know what's happening in your own backyard. I hope you found this video insightful, helpful. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. See you soon.